Beep, 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 beep. All that's new and improved from the Jester. Hello. Let's do green wokery. Let's do the madness of the woke environmentalists, shall we? I don't normally touch on the subject, but I read this and it made me laugh, so I thought I'd read it to you, and you can see how utterly crazy these nutters are. Strangely enough, it comes from researchers in Leeds, and Leeds Council just recently, they were all there with a flag and saluting like they do in their crazy cult. So here we've got it here, see? Right, so before we start, become a warrior teacher. All right, we're starting a new cohort in April. Enrollment is in March. April's the start date. I'm sending out more details about that in the next week. So become a warrior teacher. We've already got a few that have applied, which is great because we want to see people from all over the place in the Dubras as usual. And subscribe to my Substack or buy me a coffee if you can. Before I carry on, thank you to everyone who has. All right? It's great. I haven't got the time to thank you all personally. I wish I did that, but I don't. But thank you so much to those that have donated on my YouTube, wherever it may be. You know, I'm ever grateful, as they say, and thank you very much for helping keep the work going. So here we go. This is in the Times, right? How to fix global warming. Bring back rationing, says scientists. They want to put the entire country on a diet. Bring back rationing. You have to understand how totalitarian these swine are. Right, okay. Second World War style rationing of petrol, household energy and meat could help fight climate change. British scientists have recommended. British idiots. Researchers from Leeds said that the rationing, this is the same people that, with the progress flag, give it the salute, right? Researchers from Leeds said that rationing would help countries to cut their carbon emissions. Why? Does it reduce farting? It's insane. Well, we know what China's up to. You've seen the trigonometry thing, haven't you, hey? With Constantine in the Oxford Union. 20 million people have seen it, I'm sure you have. These people are mad. Making a comparison with the need to limit the consumption of certain goods as they grew scarce during the war, researchers noted that the idea of achieving this by increasing taxes was rejected in the 1940s because the impact of tax rises would be slow and inequitable. Their study, published in the journal Ethics, Policy and Environment, noted rationing has been neglected as a climate change mitigation policy option. Do you think? They're so full of it, aren't they? Who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Shitler? Just nonsense. Rationing did not end in Britain until 1954. Well, I was about 10 years old and my grandmother still had a pack of dried eggs in the back of her cupboard. And it was still edible after 30 years. Bring back rationing. Have you had your dried eggs for breakfast? Can you imagine people queuing up for a loaf of bread outside Asda? It reminds me of that great film of Private Function. If you've never seen a Private Function, you've missed a treat, right? Maggie Smith, isn't it? And it's about these people that steal a pig. And it's set in the war during rationing. And Liz Smith plays the grandmother, and she's just priceless. So this is what it reminds me of. The researchers said rationing is often seen as unattractive. This is how mental they are. When is rationing not seen as unattractive? I just don't understand them. And therefore not a viable option for policymakers. You bet. You know why? It's called democracy and people ain't going to like it. You absolute leftist, mad, communist lunatics. It is important to highlight the fact that this was not the case for many of those who had experienced rationing. Really? Really? It is important to emphasise the difference between rationing itself and the scarcity that rationing was a response to. Why? It's all bad. Of course, people did welcome the end of rationing, but they were really celebrating the end of scarcity and celebrating the fact that rationing was no longer necessary. It's just nonsense again, isn't it? See? Have a read of it in the Dubras. It's just absolute nonsense. The paper notes, however, that people may not accept rationing when there is an abundance of resources available. Mine. There's yours. These are mine. Ah, yeah. Right, some pigs are more equal than other pigs. You swine. Right, the researchers argue that as a first step, government would need to regulate sectors such as oil industry with the importing of fossil fuels banned or restricted. You know, they'll take us back to the Stone Age if we let them. Green lunatics. Okay, that's what it is. I've always said it, they're the most authoritarian of the lot and they're dangerous. They're dangerous because they think we're the enemy. They think we're the enemy of Mother Earth. Just bore off. Wankers. Right? So they're going to ban all fossil fuel, right? And then they will ration it to manage the scarcity. So they want to create scarcity. A release issued with the study notes, governments could ration specifically selected goods, get this, such as flights. Right, okay. Petrol, right, okay. Household energy. Notice, household energy. Because they'll need the other energy to run the big public organisations, won't they? Or even meat or clothing. How many t-shirts you bought this month? 4. Give 2 back. The paper adds governments could limit the number of long-haul flights an individual could make in a year, or they could limit the amount of petrol one can buy in a month. Holy shit. See what it is yet? Wonder what tune they're marching to. You know, would it have a Russian flavour or a German flavour? An alternative method will be through the modernisation of rationing with carbon cards, like bank cards. Here we go. Here comes the social credit system, folks. They're communists. The researchers recommend that people should not be allowed to trade or sell their carbon allowance. So you get your carbon allowance, but you can't trade or sell it. Gosh, so you can't practice trading. Welcome to Cuba. My name is Che Guevara. I remember his hit song. Yeah, Shaky Guevara Stevens, Behind the Red Door. Communists! Dr. Nathan Wood, yeah, right, thick as, joint author of the study, who was based at Sustainability Research Institute at the university, is now a postdoctoral fellow at Utrecht University's Fair Energy Consortium. Fair Energy Consortium, Fair's equity. Hello, comrade. Comrade Dikorsky. The concept of rationing could help, not only in the mitigation of climate change, but also in reference to a variety of other social and political issues, such as the current energy crisis. You know, can you see what it is, folks? Dr. Rob Lawler, his fellow joint lead author and a lecturer at the Interdisciplinary Ethics Applied Centre at Leeds. Interdisciplinary Ethics, right, okay. Applied Centre at Leeds said there is a limit to how much we can emit if we are to reduce the catastrophic impacts of climate change. In this sense, the scarcity is very real. It's queering. See it? They're queering it. The answer to all of this is not less, it's more. More people, more scientists. If we don't get the equity wallers out of our country, if we don't get them out of our system, that's what I mean, not country, but system. If we don't get them out of the universities, if we don't get them out of businesses, they will wreck our future and your children's future. For they are the enemy of reality. They are the enemy of equality of opportunity. They are the enemy of the sanctity of the individual. They are the enemy of progress, the enemy of science. They are the enemy of everything. They will flatten everything in their equity-driven nonsense, including, by the look of it, the fact that you want to buy petrol for your car. Are you coming to visit this weekend? Well, I've got this. So what I'll do is I'll drive 3/4 of the way, and then you can pick me up, and then you can bring me back, and I'll pick the car up next week when my rationing on petrol is filled up again. You see what it is yet? This is critical social justice. Masquerading as research. Funded by the government. And funded by you. Critical social justice. Masquerading as science. Masquerading as something good for everybody. They want to ration the UK. Meanwhile, China will build another 100,000 cars in, the next week. India will emit far more than we ever could. We don't matter in this. If we don't matter in this, which we know because of Constantine's great deconstruction of all this nonsense at the Oxford Union, if we don't matter about this, what we do doesn't matter. We can sink into the floor, as he said, sink into the sea. Then if that's the case, why are they bothering us? Oh, gosh. Do you think it's possible it's got nothing to do with climate change at all, and it's actually an ideological imposition on the British people by a bunch of communists who've taken over our system? Might be, Shouldn't we have a Royal Commission and look at it? There we go. Right, well, I'm now going to go and have some breakfast, and I'm going to emit a few farts on the way just to upset them. I'm going to do it deliberately. There you are. Have some of this. They'll be after the cows next. Right, stop that cow. It's giving off too much methane. Okay, so there you go. Have some green lunacy. These people are deranged. You know, somebody's going to rise out of this. I worry about this. Somebody's going to rise out of this and they're going to be really charismatic and they're going to be a leader and they're going to say, we're done with this nonsense. And we are going to swing so far the other way. So far the other way. We need a Royal Commission to investigate this as a societal and cultural occurrence. And we need to get these lunatic communists, which is what they are, out of every institution. Never a McCarthy around when you need one. Gosh, that'll upset folk. Go well! Have a great day.